Hello everyone, and welcome to me taking a look at a game that I really enjoy, Yawhg. This game came out on March 30th. It is kind of a choose-your-own-adventure novel mixed with a, what am I looking for? Mixed with a little bit of an RPG element. It's very short, usually playthroughs last around 20 to 30 minutes, so this will be a complete run-through. I'm going to turn this music volume down a little bit, even though I don't want it too low. But, so essentially what this is you're going to be put into a situation where you have to make choices for characters, and you get stat upgrades for it. They can influence how you can handle different situations later. So let's jump right in here and take a look. The music in this game is wonderful, it adds to the mood perfectly. Playing the game on your own is much different than playing it on a than watching it on a video. I do highly recommend this game, I'll say that right away, because it is very much an experience that is not found often. They very much capture the universe they're going for very well. The atmosphere of the game is nailed. It is definitely something worth taking a look at. So we're going to go ahead and pick 2 characters and get a start going. You can pick up to 4 if you want to play couch co-op, so to speak. You can choose 4 people and have each person in the area control one of them. It's all sequentially, not simultaneous. So we start out with this text here. The Yawhg will be here in 6 weeks, and no one expects it. Not a one of us. We just keep on living our lives, week by week, unaware. So here's the main game screen here. As you can see, we've got several different areas we can choose from to take our character here through, each of which has 2 jobs included in it. So let's go ahead and start out by going to the gardens, and we're going to meditate. You spend the week in deep meditation. You gain 1 magic and 2 mind. One day you come across an elderly man snoozing on the grass. You there, young person. He waves you over. I'm having an awful time trying to nap in the bright sun. Do you mind giving me some shade? So we can either block the sun for the old man or decline. I don't see the harm in this, so let's go ahead and block the sun for him. Ages seem to pass as you stand in the hot sun, the wizened old man sleeping peacefully in your shadow. The sun is sweltering, and after some hours you begin to feel faint. Gradually, everything grows dark. When you awaken, it is evening in the garden, and an ancient gnarled tree stands where the old man was sleeping. For witnessing this miraculous event, you gain 1 magic. So, the basics there are you get 1 screen that tells you what job you did. That's going to be the same every time you do that section. And then you get a randomized event that can be anything good or bad spread out, which there are several of for each different job. So there's still some I'm sure that I haven't seen yet, even though I've played through this a couple times on my own. But that's the basics of the game, is you're going to pick somewhere and then find out what event you're going to get after knowing what you're going to get the first part. So with this guy, we'll attend a ball. You spend the week attending fancy gatherings. You gain 2 charm and 1 finesse. One day, the court jester approaches you. Would you like to learn to juggle? He asks excitedly. I'll teach you everything I know for a small sum. Well, sure takes -1 wealth, and we have 0 wealth, so we pretty much have to go with no thanks. Says the jester. He walks away disappointed. They say the last time it came, the Yawhg devoured houses whole, stole lives, tore families and family members apart. But that was so very long ago. As you can see, this game has a tone of desolation, it's almost a very depressing tone in terms of what's going on as it builds up to things, and the game definitely captures that at other points too. The music is also really great for getting in the atmosphere. You'll notice after a while here, the music is going to start to change as the Yawhg gets closer. Let's meditate one more time with this girl. You spend the week in deep meditation. You gain 1 magic and 2 mind. Walking past the pond one day, you see a fat little frog sitting on a lily pad. Please, miss, the frog begs, I am not a frog at all, but an enchanted prince. If you could see your way to kissing me, it would break the curse and return me to normal. Kiss the frog or catch the frog? Let's kiss the frog. You bend down and kiss the frog. Suddenly, the frog is enveloped by a cloud of shimmering fog. When the fog clears, the frog is gone, and a tall, regal man is standing in the pond instead. He thanks you for helping him and gives you a handsome reward. You gain 2 wealth. As word spreads of your deed, your reputation improves. You gain 1 charm. And we're going to take him to the tavern where he can bartend for the week. You spend the week serving drinks at the tavern. You earn 1 wealth in tips and gain 2 charm. One day, the tavern throws its annual darts tournament. And our finesse is kinda low, but we're gonna go ahead and enter. You sign up for the dart tournament ready to prove your dart throwing prowess. You play a decent game of darts and end up coming in 3rd place. You win 1 wealth. It was on us in a heartbeat, or so the stories go. The earth shook, the air went still. So this week we're going to take her to the alchemy, or let's go to the hospital. We're going to tend to patients, increase our mind a little bit more. You spend the week diagnosing and tending to the sick. You gain 2 mind and earn 1 wealth. One day a patient comes into the hospital with sores that nobody's ever seen before. While walking by his bedside, he looks at you and rudely asks for a glass of water. We can either get him water or we can ignore him. I am going to... let's ignore him. Despite your intention to ignore him, you find yourself completely unable to resist obeying this man's request. You bring him a small glass to quench his thirst. He takes a large sip, swigs it around, and then proceeds to spit it at you. You try to dodge the water, but something inside your mind paralyzes you from doing so. That night, when you get home, you feel dizzy and start having vivid hallucinations about ancient wizards. You gain 3 magic. You lose 3 mind. So as you can see, some of these events really have positives and negatives coming out of them. In that case, we did gain some magic, but we lost mind at the same time. Attend the ball again one more time. Spend the week attending fancy gatherings, you gain 2 charm and 1 finesse. One day, the king approaches you. "Excuse me, but you look like someone I can confide in," he says. "I really want a prince to take over the throne, but the queen and I aren't exactly active in the bedroom." He blushes a little. "Do you have any advice on how I could romance the queen, so to speak?" So we got 11 charms. We can teach the king our ways, I would say, is a good choice here. You spend hours drawing a bunch of diagrams and going through scenarios with the king. By the end of it, he's just as charming as you are. He thanks you and hands you a large sack of coins as a reward. You gain 3 wealth. And then the world was a howling fury. Chaos. Screaming. The sound of all we know being pulled in half. Let's go ahead and tend to some more patients over here. You spend the week diagnosing and tending to the sick. You gain 2 mind and earn 1 wealth. Over the course of the week, you notice yourself growing more and more spiral-shaped sores all over your body. One day, the sores begin glowing a vibrant blue. You feel your magical power grow even stronger, while your mind slips further and further. You gain 3 magic. You lose 3 mind. In no time, the sores are growing so bright that they hurt to look at. Someone rushes up to you, asking if you're alright. With only a glance, you set him aflame. Then you let out a scream that shakes the earth and shatters the skulls of all nearby. A river of blood coats the ground as you walk about, reveling in your destruction. You black out. When you come to, you're at home in your bed. Your sores have faded, and you feel like the disease's symptoms have passed. So now if you look, the hospital is grayed out here, and you can see the visual change on it. That event, which came about from the last random one with the sores, has actually caused us to destroy the hospital. So that is no longer an open ability throughout the remainder of the time. We're gonna bartend again. You spend the week serving drinks at the tavern. You earn 1 wealth in tips and gain 2 charm. One day, a fortune teller sits up at one of the tavern's tables. She offers to read anybody's fortune for a small sum. We have a decent amount of wealth, but no thanks. The rest of the day, you watch the fortune teller from afar as she showers each of her customers with promises of wealth and love. You feel like skipping out was a good choice. You gain 1 mind. When it arrives this time, how will we fare? Will we once more rebuild, move on, be strong? Or have we forgotten? And as you can tell here in week 5, we have a much more somber song in the background. We aren't having the excited, happy theme of before, but now with this mist rolling in, with the Yawhg approaching, we get this nice somber tune that is very much different from what we've had before. We're going to go to the alchemy tower today, brew a potion since our magic is high. You spend the week experimenting with different potion brews. You gain 2 magic and 1 mind. One day, all the alchemists decide to take a break from work and throw a cantrip party. One alchemist waves his hands and produces confetti in front of him. Another spawns a seemingly endless number of doves from his sleeves. Then all the alchemists turn to you to see what you can come up with. Now you got 16 magic, so I'm going to go with a complex trick here. With a snap of your fingers, you bring a chair to life. You sit atop of it and ride it around the room. Everybody else is quite impressed. You gain 2 charm. We're going to take him... He can go meditate for the week. You spend the week in deep meditation. You gain 1 magic and 2 mind. One day, an old woman approaches you. I have a small pouch of magic beans. Would you be interested in purchasing them? I could say of course I would, which would take 1 wealth, or no thanks. Let's go ahead and buy these. You spend 1 wealth on the beans. Later, you decide to plant them in a small, rarely visited part of the garden. The Yawhg. It's almost here. Almost. And we'll finish up doing the same thing we did this time. She can brew a potion. You spend the week experimenting with different potion brews. Once again, the music has gotten more somber, more slow and ominous. You gain 2 magic and 1 mind. One day, while in the tower, one of the alchemists asks you to watch his potion while he's out. Soon after he leaves, the potion begins bubbling out of control. If you don't do something soon, it'll explode. Let's drink it. You quickly drink the potion. Your stomach can't seem to handle the potion. Fire erupts up your esophagus, and for a solid minute, you're shooting a jet of fire from between your lips. That burns. You lose 2 physique. Not the worst thing that could happen, I guess. And he can meditate 1 more time. You spend the week in deep meditation. You gain 1 magic and 2 mind. One day, while in the gardens, you notice a beanstalk. Eat it or water it. Let's eat it. You pick up the plant and bite into it. It tastes incredible. You feel energy coursing through you. You gain 2 physique and 3 magic. The storm arrives in the night. By morning it still rages. For 3 full days the tempest puts us through a grinder, drowns us, crushes us, ruins us. But then it ends. We see the graveyard our home has become. Our home. Does anything yet live? Are we past saving? So now we enter into the final segment of this game. As you can see, the Yawhg has come and completely destroyed the village. And now we've got these options instead of what we had before. The leader, the builder, the conjurer, the doctor, the smelter, the tailor, the looter, and the town drunk. Each of these is based on our different statistics that we've built up throughout the game. So, of course, we want to try to choose ones that are going to line up with statistics we have good. This is kind of the win or lose condition of the game. If you pick characters who are not fit for the jobs that you choose for them, the town is going to fail to be rebuilt. If you pick jobs that are good for them, you're going to have a chance to have varying success in rebuilding the town. So of course our blue lady here is good at magic, so we're going to make her the conjurer. You take it upon yourself to help conjure up supplies for the town. With your magic, you summon supplies of the highest caliber. With little effort, you're summoning high quality lumber and food from out of nowhere. This helps the rebuilding effort significantly. Now our other guy here has high charm and decent mind and magic, and a decent amount of wealth. So the ones I would say looking at that, you'd be looking at probably choosing the smelter, which is going to melt down your wealth to make metals. The tailor, who's going to use your finesse. The doctor, who's going to use your mind. We're going to go with the leader, who is the highest, and who is based on charm, which is our highest stat. You take it upon yourself to be the leader of the survivors. You expertly delegate and prioritize tasks. You give motivating speeches and act as an effective mediator in disputes. This helps the rebuilding effort significantly. And so, we set about our tasks, once more living our lives. this time in a way we might never have expected, or even wanted. But in the end, we flourished. Towers once wrecked and ravaged rose towards the sky. Trees again took root, then blossomed. We all blossomed. And though it took a long while, and though it took a lot from us, our future is bright. Should the Yawhg ever return, we will be ready. As you can see, the music has returned to this nice, happy sounding song that is going to lead us into our conclusion, our epilogue if you will. The Yawhg changed you, probably for the better. With the town rebuilt, you decide to retake your role as a doctor in the hospital. There, you make friends with another doctor. The two of you do everything together. You are inseparable. Eventually, you even decide to get an apartment and live with each other. Then your friend gets married, and everything changes. Their spouse has to move away to a new town, and your friend follows. You try to keep in touch by mail, but the letters start to come less and less frequently. You try to fraternize with the other doctors. While they're all nice people, nothing can compare. With the old tavern owner dying in the Yawhg, you decide to take on the task. Before long, the tavern's busier than ever, filled with good music, games, and friends. Your tavern's doing so great that every other tavern in the area has closed down. You start a chain of taverns throughout the city to fill the demand. Each new tavern you open makes it more difficult to manage all of them. You begin enacting policies that make it easier for you to keep track of how the taverns are being run. The taverns all start to become bland and uninteresting places to be, but since you have a monopoly, you're still making ridiculous amounts of money. And that's almost a theme with the Yawhg, is it's a very bittersweet game. It is very unusual for you to have a truly happy ending, just as, is quite often the case. In a lot of games, they focus so much on making this happy ending that it almost destroys an atmosphere of a game that's been based on desperation and on situations that are not good for anyone. This game really nails the atmosphere and holds to it, and you might end up well off, but it's not necessarily going to be perfectly well off. And I really love the fact that it doesn't break the atmosphere of the game to have those bittersweet endings. So this has been the Yawhg, one quick playthrough out of many that you can get with varying things. Even an ad run through, after playing through a couple times myself and seeing a couple videos on it myself, I still saw things I have not run into before. So this is going to be the end of this video. I highly encourage the Yawhg. It will be in the video description, but you can purchase it from theyawhg.com. It is a very good game. It builds an atmosphere that really draws you in, that makes you really involved in the game world. And although it's very simple and short, it is definitely something that I think is an experience worth the $10 asking price. Thank you all for tuning into this video, and I will